I wanted to bring today's episode to the podcast talking all about a success story with diminished ovarian reserve, low AMH, high FSH, told that donor eggs were their only option. And we also had male factor fertility issues, so very low sperm count. What they did to really take control of their health following our 𝒏𝒄 method, using functional lab testing, working on their mindset, and really visualizing a positive path forward. Excited to take you through this case study. Let's go. Welcome back. I'm Sarah Clark, founder of 𝒏𝒄 and your host. I believe the functional approach is the first step for anyone on the fertility journey, and my aim is to help you get pregnant naturally. Today, we're digging into a success story with diminished ovarian reserve and also male factor fertility issues as well. This episode is for you as if you've been diagnosed with diminished ovarian reserve, or maybe your partner's dealing with low sperm count and you want to explore some natural ways to improve fertility. You're looking for actionable steps and strategies to optimize egg insufficiency through lifestyle changes and targeted interventions. And you want to hear a real life success story of a couple who overcame the challenging fertility diagnosis, being told that donor eggs were their only option, and really they're able to conceive naturally. Thanks so much for listening. I'm so thankful that you're here. Make sure you hit subscribe or follow. And if you know someone else who's on the fertility journey, please share this podcast with them. Okay, so we're going to take you through this success story here, getting pregnant naturally with low sperm count at low AMH of 0.15, FSH in the 30s, really being told that donor eggs are the only option. A lot of times that's what people hear. When the AMH is low, your FSH is high, maybe you're also dealing with male factor fertility issues, they're going to tell you to go to donor eggs. For sure, there's things that you can do to improve your chances of pregnancy success, and today we're going to take you through some of the health factors that they were dealing with so you can see what's going on with your health. It's not just about focusing in on that AMH and FSH diagnosis. There's things you can do right now. So she was struggling with gut imbalances. We see a lot of people with that constipation, diarrhea, that burping, bloating, digestive issues going on. She had hormonal issues. So we see a lot of people that were on the hormonal birth control pill. So she was on it for about 15 years. Her periods were light. She was spotting before her period. And so she had some hormonal imbalances going on. She had some immune issues. We see many people, I've got a whole immune guide actually. If you're listening to this, send a message to hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line immune, and we'll talk about how to boost your immune system. Maybe you get a lot of colds and flus and someone sneezes beside you and next thing you're in bed for 2 days. And so most people we work with, it's not a sick population. It's just a population is maybe not in optimal health. And so for her, she had a lot of strep throat and ear issues as a child, and then a lot of sinus congestion. So she was dealing with that. And then the circadian rhythm imbalance, not feeling refreshed in the morning, difficulty falling asleep, feeling restless, waking up in the middle of the night, daytime's grogginess, that afternoon dip. So we work with people on sleep for months. This is the cornerstone of health. If your sleep is off, it's not about you rushing to another IVF. We've got to work on your sleep. She also had some thyroid imbalance, which we're going to get into later, and also adrenals. The emotional side of things. We work with a lot of people, typically in high stress jobs, working long hours, and you might not even view your job as stressful, but maybe an outsider, your best friend might say, hey, that job's a little bit stressful. Maybe you're working more than 50 hours. So she definitely had a stressful job, and she had some mood issues going on. So some anxiety, a little bit of depression and irritability. And then also some detox issues. If we're dealing with cellulite, are we detoxing? Are detoxification pathways clear? And odors seem to affect us and get headaches. So she had that too. And then also that autonomic nervous system, that stress piece. She's in a job she loves, but it's a stressful job. And so that can then really have ourselves in that fight or flight piece, and our body can in that freeze state almost too, where we're just stuck. And the autonomic nervous system, which could be an imbalance with digestion and blood pressure and temperature regulation, and maybe you're having issues with cardiovascular symptoms, digestive symptoms we talked about, respiratory symptoms, neurological issues, and maybe like we were talking about, she's feeling fatigue and sleep, and sometimes people even have bladder dysfunction. And so it can be caused by trauma or infections, autoimmune disease, blood sugar issues, nutrient deficiencies. And so we had a few indicators that the autonomic nervous system for her was off. And so how do we then be able to bring things back online? Her partner had low sperm motility as well. And so we looked at his blood chemistry and then made targeted recommendations, because it's not just about let's look at his sperm and it's low and there's nothing we can do. We need to look at his health as well. And we made targeted changes with him, looking at blood sugar and thyroid, nutrient deficiencies, and being able to improve that. And so for them, we did testing. So we do that food sensitivity testing using blood. We do stool testing, looking at the DNA of the stool. We do genetic testing, different than the karyotyping testing you're going to do at the fertility clinic, looking at your specific diet and lifestyle and supplement recommendations to then support those specific gene variants. And then really the karyotyping you're doing at the clinic is only impacting about 10% of people have an issue, where this is being able to really personalize your diet and lifestyle. So we did the food sensitivity testing, found out that actually had a leaky gut. So we see this a lot where people are intolerant to some of their favorite foods. So there's foods in the red you take out for usually 60 and 90 days, foods in the yellow 30 to 60 days. So she had a lot of yellow foods that we start to reduce inflammation. And then you can heal the gut. You can bring most of the foods back in, but sometimes people are intolerant to their favorite foods. We see some parasites. So there was Giardia, which is a parasite. It can cause some loose stools, diarrhea. It can be passed via contaminated water, food, or on surfaces. And it's usually found in lakes, streams, and wells, but also it can pass from person to person via contaminated food. And then we also found H. pylori. This is something that it infects the stomach lining, and it's a common cause of some peptic ulcers or chronic gastritis. And so we see people that have H. pylori. So a lot of us have it, but is it overgrown and a virulence factor? And it can impact your body's ability to absorb nutrients. So you can be well fed but malnourished because your body's not actually absorbing those things. And to have H. pylori, you don't even need to have any of those symptoms. But if you have symptoms such as acid reflux or burping or any of those other gastric issues, that might be a sign to dig deeper. Typically, we can be careful on this one because in the conventional medicine, they might give you antibiotics for that, and then that will wipe out the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria. So we always want to maintain both bacteria and really continue to optimize the gut, because the fast track of a antifungal and antiparasitic, it seems quick, but you have to do the repair on the other end. So there was parasites, there was an overgrowth of H. pylori, there was definite leaky gut. So on the stool test, we saw the zonulin was elevated, and we see that a lot with the people's leaky gut. And when we repair the gut, then all this impacts your ability to get pregnant naturally, improves egg quality, improves your fertility. And so she had low vitamin D, low B12. We see that a lot. Thyroid imbalance, so some trending high for some of the thyroid markers. The antibodies were trending high. The reverse T3 was high, and many of the other thyroid markers were low. That sort of chronic stress and adrenal piece, where we see our whole thesis on this, is it actually early menopause, or is it your adrenals that impact the thyroid that then impact the AMH, the FSH, and the follicle count? And then that nervous system dysregulation, where we were talking about that autonomic nervous system. And then the emotional stress piece. And so we personalized her diet, gave her some supplements that can really help address what was happening as far as imbalances in the gut. Some protocols there to help her, gave those lifestyle. Her mood improved, her sleep improved, her hormones began to balance. His sperm motility and concentration doubled, really improved dramatically by him following all these changes as well. They made changes in their life as well, and the relationship deepened. And because a lot of times this can be a lot about baby making, better intimacy and connection, which then helps to reduce all the stress in your body. And then being told donor eggs are your only option, they got pregnant naturally and went on to have their little baby. They did the changes. They followed the plan, did the testing, also did the mindset piece, really worked on those stressors, got the body out of that fight or flight piece, and really were quite diligent and dug deeper. And like we said, it's not just about focusing in on the AMH and the FSH and the sperm count. It's looking at your health. We need to know those numbers, what's happening with your reproductive health, and then we got to back it up and look at your overall health. Even though I have People tell me all the time, I'm perfectly healthy. I feel great. How's your stress? And they tell me, oh my goodness, my stress is so high. And even if you're like, I don't think my stress is high, could it be that you're in what others would view as in a high stress job or your situation? You're on the fertility journey. That in itself can be stressful. I don't want to have people thinking that they're stressed when they're not, but it could be just a factor that is overlooked, and then that impacts the rest of your body. You need to address the gut health, work on your stress, nourish the adrenals, work on a diet that's right for your body, and actually visualize it working. And so they were able to get pregnant. Within 7 months naturally in the program. Our average success is around 12 to 18 months. It does take time for the body to begin to heal and have it come back online. So the majority of us can get pregnant naturally. And IVF can be there for you, but we need to work on our health. That is the fast track, working on our health. So if you're ready to improve your chances of pregnancy success, send me a message, hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line fertile, and we'll give you some options to help, and we can jump on a call and see how our Fab Fertile program may be a good fit to help you. And so if you're ready for 2025, improve the chances of this working, go ahead and book a call with me. Excited to chat with you. Hopefully this success story has been inspiring and really having you look at your health completely differently, and knowing there's things right now you can do to improve your health. So if you do decide to go to IVF, you're going to improve your chances of a successful retrieval, have better egg quality. They can't test for that, but improve your egg quality so the embryos are going to be tested with better quality, that you're going to actually be able to do a successful retrieval, and it will implant. Thanks for being here, and I hope this episode was helpful for you. Take care.